As scientists around the globe race to find a treatment for the coronavirus, a young girl among them stands out. Anika Chebrolu, a 14-year-old Indian-American student from Frisco, Texas, has won the 2023 Young Scientist Challenge for a discovery that may aid in combating the spread of COVID-19. She won a prize of $25,000 for her discovery. Chebrolu developed an antiviral drug for COVID-19 by researching protein spikes in the novel coronavirus. She used in silico methodology for drug discovery to find a molecule that can selectively bind to the spike protein of the SARS-CoV-2 virus in an attempt to find a cure for the COVID-19 pandemic. Anika said she was inspired to find potential cures to viruses after learning about the 1918 flu pandemic and finding out how many people die every year in the United States, despite annual vaccinations and anti-influenza drugs on the market. She hopes to be a medical researcher and professor in 15 years. When she isn't in a lab or working toward her goal of becoming a doctor or researcher, Anika trains for the Indian classical dance, called Bharatanatyam, which she has been practicing for 8 years. May have to leave the country if I lose, says Donald Trump on U.S. presidential elections. With just about a fortnight to go for his re-election bid to the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump at a rally, thinking about the possibility of leaving the country if he were to lose in the elections, news reports say. Addressing a rally in Georgia, Trump said, "Could you imagine if I lose? I'm not going to feel so good. Maybe I'll have to leave the country, I don't know." With his polls sliding and U.S. COVID-19 infections spiking, Donald Trump is focusing entirely on his core Republican base, in hopes that highly energized supporters will turn out in huge numbers. Adding to Trump's woes, Biden will be getting help from Democratic superstar Barack Obama on Wednesday next week when the former president, who had Biden as his vice president, campaigns in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As the polling clouds darken for Trump, prominent members of his own Republican Party are sounding the alarm. Trailing in the polls and at a significant cash deficit compared with Biden, Trump attempted to argue that he was opting against raising more money as he enters the final stretch of the election. "I could raise more money," he said. "I would be the world's greatest fundraiser, but I just don't want to do it." It's quite hard to believe there is a part of the human body that's gone unnoticed by doctors after centuries of medical research. Dutch scientists discover a previously unnoticed pair of salivary glands in the human skull. But that's exactly what a group of scientists from the Netherlands believe. They said they have discovered a pair of previously overlooked glands that are hidden away in our skulls where the nasal cavity and the throat meet. This overview of the salivary gland tissues as seen in PSMA PET/CT scans depicts the known major salivary glands and an unknown structure, indicated by arrows, in the nasopharynx showing similar imaging characteristics. Source: CNN. The unknown entity was only identified when the doctors were using an advanced and new type of scan. Overall, there is still much to learn about the human body, scientists say, and technology is allowing us to make these discoveries. This might be the first of some exciting discoveries within the body. With schools shut, teachers turned to loudspeakers and other tricks over the past few months in India. Many schools across India remain shut because of the coronavirus pandemic. But with online classes not being a viable option in many rural areas, teachers have had to come up with creative ways to carry on with their lessons. From using a loudspeaker to going around on a motorbike, some teachers have found alternative ways to teach their students. Children who have missed their online classes due to lack of internet facilities sit on the ground in circles drawn with chalk to maintain safe distance as they listen to pre-recorded lessons over loudspeakers. While many children in cities have been able to attend classes online, there are several villages where telecom networks are poor and power supply is often erratic. These villages are waking up to the voice of their teachers, reciting poems from their text via the loudspeakers at the temples. While the teachers understand that the loudspeaker lessons cannot replace the actual teaching-learning process, and may not even be successful in helping students understand their lessons, the endeavor has been to ensure that students have at least some touch of education in their daily life. The Uttar Pradesh government has roped in the Green Gang under the Mission Shakti program for the security, empowerment and dignity of women and girls across the state. Mission Shakti is a 6-month program to sensify people to respect and provide security to women. The women working in groups of 15 to 20 in about 150 villages of Varanasi, Mirzapur, Sonbhadra, Chandali, Jaunpur and Ayodhya with the mission of making their villages free from female foeticide, child marriage, alcoholism, gambling, domestic violence and eve teasing. The Green Gang Group, comprising over 1,000 women members, is set to expand their operations under the Mission Shakti campaign to more than 50 additional villages in Uttar Pradesh over the next 6 months. Dressed in green saris, the volunteers of Green Gang move on foot from one village to another, urging people to give up gambling and liquor. NASA's asteroid-chaser Osiris-Rex completed a brief and historic landing on the potentially hazardous asteroid Bennu, over 200 million miles away from Earth. It was a daring operation, revealing a delicate yet explosive moment between rock and robot. Osiris-Rex traveled all that way to perform a short touch-and-go maneuver. Its major goal is to collect a sample from the asteroid's surface and transport it back to Earth for study. During the brief contact for 6 seconds, it performed what amounts to a cosmic pickpocketing maneuver. The team's goal is to collect about 60 grams of dust, dirt and pebbles from the surface of Bennu. There's no guarantee Osiris-Rex has collected a significant sample. As the spacecraft approached and then spent 2 years orbiting and surveying Bennu, it became clear this tiny world is different from what scientists expected. The team hoped to find a number of sandy surfaces ideal for sampling, but it turns out Bennu is a rubble pile, with a rugged terrain strewn with boulders. More measurements will be required to confirm the material is within the sampling head, but if Osiris-Rex has succeeded, it will join Japan's Hayabusa and Hayabusa 2 missions in the annals of asteroid exploration. In spite of festivities for Durga Puja being dampened by the ongoing pandemic, idol makers across West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, and Odisha have come up with some unique variants of idols for festivities this year. The themes include the COVID-19 pandemic, the India-China border dispute, and people walking back to their home states during the lockdown, among others. A pandal in Kolkata had an unconventional interpretation of Goddess Durga, in which it aimed to highlight the struggles of workers who had to trek back to their home states during the lockdown. Another pandal in Kolkata replaced the traditional idol of Mahishasura with that of a Koranajura, in which the demon had the crown-like shape of the virus. A pandal in Birbhum district's Saanthiya had silver masks for all the idols. This was said to be a bid to raise awareness about the importance of wearing masks. The Assam-based artist took around 60 days to create an idol of Goddess Durga using over 30,000 capsules and syringes. The concept was used to highlight the dependency of people on medicines, and how that was affected during the lockdown. As and when a coronavirus vaccine is approved for release, around 30 crore Indians would be the first in the country to get it. India has started identifying the beneficiaries that include high-risk population and first responders, including healthcare workers, police, sanitation workers and people with comorbidities. As estimated 60 crore vaccine doses would be administered to them. The shots planned for the initial phase would include a booster dose as well. The list comprises 4 categories of beneficiaries, around 50 to 70 lakh healthcare professionals. As per the draft plan, the expert committee has estimated 70 lakh healthcare workforce from the public as well as private sectors. Around 4.5 million police officers and 1.5 million more from the armed forces would be included. As many as 1.5 crores municipal workers would also be part of the initial phase. The list of beneficiaries would be finalized by October end or early November. The list would also include 26 crore people over the age of 50 and younger people with comorbidities such as diabetes, lung disease, kidney failure and cancer. The vegetarian crocodile entered Sri Ananthapura temple's premises and went back after Chief Priest Chandraprakash Nambasan requested it to go back to its permanent habitat, the temple pond. According to one of the temple authorities, the reptile, fondly called Babia, has been residing in a cave adjacent to the temple pond for over 70 years now. Legend has it that back in 1945, a crocodile, which was also later called Babia, appeared in the Temple Pond days after a British Army officer was mysteriously killed by an unknown animal. It was said that the officer had shot a crocodile which was residing in the temple at that time. The authority says it wasn't unusual for Babia to wander around the temple premises at night after the last rituals of the day had been completed. It is also said that the reptile sleeps on the platform in front of the Srikavil, the sanctum sanctorum, of the temple and goes back into the pond peacefully as and when the temple opens at dawn for the rituals. Babia mainly feeds on offerings made to the deity and has not exhibited any dangerous behavior in the past. Nandan reciting Sloka.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Saksha, Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma, who is the Lord Brahma, is the creator or the generator. Lord Vishnu or Guru Vishnu is the organizer. Guru Devo Maheshwara or Shiva is the destroyer. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, the supreme God of Almighty. So let's recite the mantra again. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Saksha Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Hari Om.
Stay connected with the universe through TD Heptas. If you like our contents, please hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel.